Zoom is just taking some time to connect. So as soon as Zoom connects to Facebook, we will get connected. It's saying it's preparing, but it's not moving. I don't know why it's taking so long. Usually it's like 2 seconds. And this is the thing, using technology, like you have to depend on this to work. Sometimes people say, oh my God, I didn't know, or, you know, I couldn't find you. And people say, I can't log on. I said, I can't help you with that. That's not my issue. You know, it's not even like I'm not paying Facebook. It is what it is. Unless I just do a webinar on just Zoom where people...
Right, but you give out so much in the webinars, Muneeza. You give out so much information and advices. And I always think, how are you doing all this? Handling 3 kids. And I know Waldorf education is very different. They're not in front of TV. Your kids are.
So I think we are live now.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Let me go see. It's saying Jackie's saying I'm live, but I don't see it. Jackie, I don't. You can hear the guest too. I don't see me live. So weird. Okay, well, I will trust Jackie. And if you are watching this, sorry, we're just working out, you know, the technical stuff as always. Okay. Let's log into here and see that I'm live. All right, and I'm going to start this recording in just a second. Hi, everyone. If you're watching me live, I don't see me live. So if you see me live, I'm just saying hello. And I'm going to start. There I am. I see it. People are on here. Okay, let me mute myself on the live so I don't hear myself. Hi, everyone. If you're watching me live, I don't. Okay, people can see me. Fantastic. Good morning, everybody. So I'm so excited about today's guest. We have a very special guest for you. Her name is Shweta Sharma, and Shweta has a very active presence on social media with her Instagram stories that she does about all of her kids and what she's feeding them. And she's she's just completely inhaled medical medium protocols for herself and her family. And, you know, I absolutely love this woman. She was telling me, she was asking me, how do you do it all? And I said, well, I don't know how you do it, because really it's like, I know what it's like with 2 young children and having sick kids and trying to help them and trying to help yourself when you're sick and really figuring it all out, you know. So kudos to you, Shweta, for everything that you've been able to do and for your family. And I'm so glad that you're here and that we get to hear your story. So welcome.
Thank you, Muneeza. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So
tell us a little bit about, tell us, because you were pretty sick, right?
Right.
Not just your kids, you were dealing with a lot of stuff. So tell us how you got into this and how medical medium, how you found him, and then how he helped you and how you got help from his protocol.
My journey to health is actually pretty long, and it started with my son's birth 10 years back. And we went into trials of, like, he used to be 10 days in our doctor's office in 1 month. So at that time, we started dabbling into the health journey. It was long, and we did a lot of cleaning of diet and all that. And but the real issue started once my daughter was born. She was born with lot of issues with liver, and then she had severe eczema. And I, after her birth, had major flare-up of IBS, which felt more like colitis at that time. And at the time, I had already tried so many of approaches like body ecology, Ayurvedic diets. I was also starting to dabbling into Anne-Wigmore diets. And lot of herbal approaches I had tried, homeopathy, to name a few. And I worked with a lot of practitioners by the time. But I was like overwhelmed why this is happening when so many things I've already done. And then I hit my daughter's going through eczema, and I got this thyroid issues. And at that point, I was doing high raw vegan diet, actually, under a very famous practitioner. And I was like, But he had suggested me to cut off all the fruits. And I was just overwhelmed. I came to a position where I was not able to move out of bed. I was preserving all my energy to feed my daughter. And so I had thyroiditis and she had eczema. And I just prayed at that time. That was the time I prayed that I've tried everything. And then my guide showed me to go through a fruit healing diets. And I started looking for more practitioners who were doing the fruit work. And they all told me, you have to wean off your daughter. And I was not ready. I can get her on formula. She would flare up. And in those times, I was just so overwhelmed with all those things. I went to a near-death experience. And then again, I was sent back to using fruits to healing. And at that time, in those times, I saw medical medium work at the same time. So from there, I have not looked back. Whenever I have looked back, my guides have always shown me you are on the right path. And at that time, I decided not to wean her off. And my real epiphany was, 2 years back, medical medium Anthony gave me a Facebook reading. And that reading at the time was, I was so worried that my thyroid is going to affect her, my daughter. So he gave me a reading about, you can continue your breastfeeding. And he told me that 90% of the breast milk is sugar and mineral water, and take off my worries from fats and all. And at that time, I started very deeply the work of medical medium. And I started looking. I tried to contact their office, but he was so much into a wait list. And then I saw your website listed under his preferred practitioners. And one of the things which I've always seen while working with practitioners, I realized was that I have to work with a practitioner who would align with my values and of nutrition, who has tried it, who has done so much already. And here you were, you had kids, you have gone through the breastfeeding phase with dabbling your own health issues. So I was like, oh, she is the one who is going to guide me to go deeper into the protocol. Because when I saw the book, I was like, whether I have to do Epstein bar, whether I have to do this, whether I have to do what. So I wanted to get deeper into it and help my son also, who was going through health issues. So that's when I started working with you. And after that, I've not looked back. It was so much of healing, which has brought after I connected with you.
Thank you so much for sharing all that. That was really powerful. And I think that it is really important to find a practitioner that you align with. I think you're mentioning a very, very key point here. Somebody whom you connect with on your values and who has had a journey similar to yours or the situation that you're in. So I agree. It is really powerful that was good intuition, right? That you use.
Right.
And so tell us what changed specifically for you as you started the protocols. So, for you and your daughter, because your daughter had eczema and you were battling your thyroiditis. And so tell us, what changes did you start doing? Because, I just got off the phone with a mother just before you and I connected, and she has young ones, really little, under 5. Yeah. And, 2 of them, and she's completely overwhelmed. And you had little ones. Your son was a little older, but you had a little daughter, and those ages are really hard. So how did you actually, can you break it down for people? How did you actually do it? What did you start with? What was the first step, the second step, the third step? And how did you get to the place of not being overwhelmed by what you had to do?
Right. So my first step, I heard medical medium radio shows. At that time, you were not listed on his page. You were listed, later on his page. And the only thing we could do was either, wait for the waiting list with Anthony. So I started adding fruits to my diet. I added a lot of fruits, but I did not lower my fats, and I hit with candida at that time. But fruits helped me to start moving around. I was able to walk, and my pain was a lot less. I started seeing less heart palpitations. So a lot of issues starting, every symptom started going down. I would have flare-ups, but the symptoms started going down. But my numbers were not showing that. My numbers were still getting worse, and I was not using supplements except B12. I was again from the mentality that everything is to be provided by foods. And that's where, and I was not improving after a while. With kids also, I first started improving myself, and then I took my son off dairy, and I started seeing improvements in my daughter, like her scratching, her bleeding had gone down. So everything started improving once I started introducing fruits in my diet. That was the first thing I did. And later I did. And then the other thing I did was heavy metal detox, which he talked about in his radio shows. So I saw major improvements in all the symptoms we were suffering from. But then I talked with you and your Emily, and I was like, I want to heal my son and daughter. I'm not worried about myself. I'm able to carry on my life. And then she told me your values, and she's like, Muneeza really makes sure that as a woman, as a mother, you are also healed. So she made me like, that was, I think, one of the major thing which you gave me in my first call, that it's very important not only you heal your kids, it's very important that you heal at the same time, or heal first. And I was like, no, I want my reading. You had such limited time. I'm like, I want reading for my kids, but you made sure I get the reading for myself also. And that was so crucial because, in my readings, you told me exact supplements I have to take. And in what I have been doing in 6 months, just following the shows, but not having supplements, there was a huge difference when I did the supplements. My numbers started improving only after I went on the supplements you suggested.
Yeah.
And I had very less down days after that. I saw the difference in a month. So I was very thankful that you made sure that I'm taking care of myself. And I can see that, as moms, we are always about taking care of our kids, but you taught me that thing in the coaching, that you have to take care of yourself. When I took care of myself, I was able to take care much better of my kids. They were not skipping that many supplement days as, when I was not well, things like that. So that was important.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That was really cool. Sharing that you were able to, first of all, make so many improvements on just food, right? And that food can be so incredibly powerful alone. Like you started to notice reduction in symptoms across the board. So, the power of food is really important because food is really how we nourish ourselves. We eat it 3 times a day or more. We graze, like maybe we eat every 90 minutes. I don't know. Everyone does something different. It's really important to acknowledge that part. And then, of course, the supplements can really make a huge difference. Yet not everybody needs them all the time, and not everybody needs them. Like some children can heal just on food, because they're young and children respond a lot more quickly. So thank you for sharing all that. So what made the biggest difference for your daughter? So tell me, I know you're so creative in your kitchen with all the things that you come up for your kids. I know your spirulina candy is very famous. I think everybody in the MM community knows about that. So tell us how you started to feed your children, and like there's questions coming on the live that you cannot see because I'm actually on Facebook also looking at all of the questions. So like Vanessa is asking, what did you get? How did you get your daughter to eat what you gave her?
My daughter was on spirulina from the age of 6 months. So she was just transitioning very easily on it. we started with very small doses. It was very important in our healing. We found the detox protocol. So we started with very small doses, and I was breastfeeding at the time. So since I took all the supplements, what was required for her, most of the supplements, and it went through me to her. And once I weaned, the only supplements she was on at that time was spirulina and some specific supplements which she required for her eczema. I'm trying to think what I did. It's been a while. I started mostly when she was starting solid, so it was more fruits and big potatoes and sweet potatoes, and slowly when she was on her diet, when she was weaned off, then we made much more solid foods. Right now, she's only eating grains at night. So it's mostly trying what she wants, what she does not want. And kids like simple meals. They don't like mixed. That's what I came to know. Okay, keep mangoes. It has to be simple. That is what I give her when she is hungry. She eats every hour. And it did not bother her teeth, which I hear it bothers a lot of kids, which would, I was worried about that, and it did not. So
there are other reasons why that happens for some kids,
Right.
But yeah, she didn't have that issue.
Right. So we had her giving her fruits at one time, each time, just simple things. And lunch would be like potatoes and some steamed veggies, very simple meals. And at night, whatever the dinner is there, which works, she takes that. Was I able to answer something, what they are asking?
Yes. Yes, I think that's good. Somebody else asks, her name is Annie, and she's asking, what has been your favorite supplement throughout your healing?
I think I cannot pinpoint one supplement, but I would rather say, Anthony has this blog, are any supplements? Do you need any supplements? Something like that.
Yes.
And I feel that is very important. All those supplements he mentions there, apart from his heavy metal, I find if I skip one thing for a long time, I need to go back to it. I've tried doing like just vitamin B12 and zinc. And if I don't do spirulina and barley grass, I see the difference in energy I feel. And I see that in my kids. So I cannot pinpoint one supplement, I would say.
But that's helpful,
Yes.
You can't pinpoint one supplement, but at least I think we accidentally experiment with our supplements because either we forget to take them or, I have my little thing here sitting since the morning that I'm like, okay, I'll take them when I get a minute. Right.
Right.
So, I think that I've been off of B12 because I once time ran out of it and I thought I had a bottle in the drawer and I went and checked and, it wasn't there. And so I was out of B12 for about a week. And I definitely noticed like I wasn't feeling as good without the B12.
Right.
So you're right. Like we can feel the effects of not being on them. And actually he does say, right, that 2 supplements that you want to be on probably for most of your life is going to be B12 and zinc, right? Yeah. Those are the 2 critical ones that he wants everybody on because we cannot get them from our foods. We don't get them and they're really critical. So Susan Wolf said, I love hearing other people's stories of how they came to Anthony and how they healed or how they are healing. And Candace said, yes, she had that too. And so people are really, there's a lot of comments coming here. So I wanted to say, some people,
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It happens. This is life. I mean, we're not on BBC with like 2 children running in the background, right? It's totally fine. People say that to me all the time. They're like, don't you sometimes feel nervous because you have kids at home? And I'm like, well, I'm not on BBC. So
and that is life.
It's life. Everybody knows I have children. It's not a hidden fact. And if they come in, they come in. I mean, sometimes my daughter has shown up on my live and she wasn't supposed to be there, but she just comes and sits on my lap. And then she's like, can I talk? Can I talk? You know?
And that's what connect to a lot of us, because you are a mother, and a lot of people who are suffering are mothers. And, we connect with you in that way a lot.
Oh, thank you for that. I try to be as real as possible. It's very easy on Facebook and social media to look like you're having a perfect life. And life is not perfect. It is not perfect. Like this summer was really hard for me. And I don't want to share too much pain on Facebook, but I want to share the reality of the fact that, it's a hard time right now. So, and I think everybody, the more real we are, the more people respond more authentically, and we can make better connections with people. So there's no such thing as a perfect life. I mean, we all struggle. We're all human. I think in the beginning, people would say to me, I don't even understand why you're still sick, or why you have symptoms, or why you have a flare up. Like, is Anthony's stuff not working? I'm like, that's got nothing to do with it. So we all struggle. So I want to hear from you. So last time we did a live, I think some people were calling us and saying, I have a really hard time hearing stories of people who have healed, and I get really upset because I'm not healing. And I wanted to ask you, just to be honest and bring this part of honesty. Do you have down days? And if so, when do they show up? How often do they show up?
I do have down days, and it's just right. And I've seen the down days have become less, but they are still there. It took time. Like, my main change happened of the down days once I took the coaching from you and the supplements you told me. My down days come up when the day is very stressed. I am not being able to show up my best every day. And when my kids get sick, I'm not on my protocol when my kids get sick.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when, or I see sometimes on weekends, because on Friday night I'll eat something. My body is so sensitive. If I eat grains also, now I never eat something what not to eat, but I might indulge in grains. When I go off the protocol, I see more down days in terms of. But when I'm on protocol now, I don't see down days much anymore. I might, like, when I say down days, I don't see bedridden days. One of the things which I really learned in my last cleanse with you, in the intuitive cleanse you had in summer, I was going raw, trying many raw days. And my main down days come near periods. And that was such a powerful information. You told me how to, in that intuitive cleanse, how to go with your cycles, and you will see more down days, and that you are detoxing. I never looked at my periods until that time as how they're detoxing my body. I learned a lot about that in my intuitive cleanse with you. It was just one QA call, but then I dabbled more into research work after that. So I think I see my down days more around sometime once in a while in periods, and that's it. Or when somebody is sick, or I'm running and not on protocol.
Right.
I have pretty good days actually now, I would say now.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. But it does take time to get there.
Yes.
There are people who have been sick for years, and they've been on the protocol for a year or two, and they don't see as much improvement. And I just want people and they tend to be really sensitive people, with really sensitive nervous system, and who have a lot of viral load, metal loads, toxic loads. And it's not like they won't get better. It's that they need more time.
Yes.
And if it can work for people even in a short time, then it can work for people over a long period of time. It's just, I say to people all the time, how long has medical medium been around? He's been around since the age of 4, telling people what to do. But in a big way, it really only happened when he launched his books, So that was 2015, end of 2015 in November. And then end of 2016, he launched a second book. So really, in a bigger way, people have really been only doing protocols for maybe 2-3 years, 2 years at the most. Some people have started earlier. Some people have a history of doing it for maybe 5 years, but we don't have long-term evidence. Like, we don't have 10 years and 20 years and 30 years of being able to eat a certain way. And what can happen in those timeframes, because we can't see it. Nobody I know has done it for 10 years. Nobody I know has done it for 20 years. I haven't met those people yet, but I'm hoping that as we go on this journey, we all are providing that evidence of how healing can continue to happen and how changes happen. Life is a long time. I mean, people say life is short, but really, when you're healing, there's so much time for you to heal. Like, you don't have to be done in 6 months, or you don't have to be done in a year. And I say this to people: if you have toxins built up in your body from decades, how on earth are you going to suddenly clear it all out in 6 months or a year? Sometimes you need more time.
Yeah. I had, like, when I say I don't have down days, I still have not reached the point where I started getting sick. I used to do 1 hour of exercise, yoga every day. I've still not reached that point, but I can dabble now into 10 minutes of yoga every day. So it is taking time. It is like, and that was so nice that you told me at the start, on the very first day, you told me, Shweta, you are a breastfeeding mom. You will take time. It will take years. Just having that knowledge gave me patience of healing. I'm still not where I wish to be, but when I say I don't have many down days, I don't have days where I'm not able to function or I'm lying on bed. That's what I mean when I don't have down days. I don't have heart palpitations.
Right.
I don't have paramedics coming to my home. So things like that are not happening.
Right. Those are really, really critical. And I mean, even I have down days where, I'll go through a period, say I don't typically sleep very well because I still have young children who wake me up at night. And to me, you don't have to tell me that you're going to the bathroom. Just go to the bathroom and not wake me up. I mean, like, they wake me up for that, or if God forbid anyone's sick, then they're waking me up for I'm checking on them at night. Or my youngest one, who we're still trying to get her to sleep in her own bed, will, come to my side, Mama, can I come in your bed? I'm like, okay, just come in the bed and don't wake me up, because once I wake up, it's very hard for me to go back to sleep. So if that happens for like 3 days in a row or 4 days in a row, I go into major adrenal crash.
Right.
My adrenals will stabilize and then they can crash, because I'm always like on this edge of healing that. So, for a long time, I haven't been able to trampoline and rebound and do my hula hoop, which I love doing, because I would feel so exhausted that I didn't have the energy to even think about it. And I only have started really doing that in the last month, where I felt a little stronger. I still can't use my arm fully. So, there's all these things that we want healed so quickly. Now, I intuitively know my arm is going to take 6 months to heal. And is that ideal? No. I mean, am I going to lose my next summer? I hope not, because I do a lot of tennis in the summer. I like to be very active, and I go swimming, and we do kayaking and all this stuff. And I couldn't do any of it. So would it make me sad not to do it? Yeah, I would probably feel bad, but at the end of the day, if I'm healing and I know that I'm on that path and I will get better, if I have to take care of myself a little more, sure. I mean, I was a ballerina growing up. I did ballet for 15 years, and I was used to be so fit and active and toned and muscular. I talk to people who've had that experience in their lives where they have had athleticism in their bodies, and they're like, I can't even walk now. It's too tiring to walk. And I say, yeah, I get it, because you're healing, because these viruses make it hard for you to be able to do your normal activities, because they start to attack the adrenals, and they start to attack the nervous system, and they start to give you neurological symptoms. And in fact, it's better that you don't exercise right now, because you're only going to make yourself worse. So there's all these different pieces to the puzzle. And then I want people to get this information really from, I do the lives and I share a lot here, but like from doing the cleanse, we go really deep in the cleanse conversation.
We do.
And so share a little bit about your experience there versus a private reading, because I think people are getting confused, meaning like, what, I should wait for a private reading, or should I do the cleanse or do the mastery, which is 3 months?
Okay. So in the private reading, it was very specific to my, my private reading was for my kids and for myself. It was very specific supplements which my son needed and where his body really needs to heal. I could not figure that out, that why this is happening to him. And and you gave the specific supplements and the doses, what is required by my body at the time. And I built it up, those doses, as I progressed. And half of my coaching with you was always supplements and the dose. Shweta, try this supplement now. You are going specifically through this symptom. Your body will deal with help with this supplement. And I'm so excited you are doing that in the Detox Mastery, that teaching us how to be intuitive with your supplements and the dosages.
Yes.
So whereas in intuitive cleanse, I could not get that reading from you because it is a general, but I could ask you much deeper general questions. I was thinking I could only ask deeper general question about myself, but I could ask you about my family members also. That was so great. I remember there was one QA call we were going through, and one of my close family member was going through a pregnancy complication, and you answered the question. You did not give a read. You could not give a read because it would have been very private for her.
Right.
But you helped me with what we could do, what approach we could take for her. So there are so many deeper questions and answers which happen in intuitive cleanse, which you cannot answer on Facebook Live also, but it's not a reading.
Right.
It's not a reading.
Yeah, go ahead.
And there's so many people whose questions are being answered there. So you understand, oh, I'm going through this symptom. The other person is going through that symptom. This is just a part. It's such a cooperative thing going on where we connect with each other, taking the same journey together. So, and everybody answers, oh, I had that, so we did this. So we get a lot of support, very deep support we get in that cleanse.
And actually, I'll tell you what happened last time in the raw cleanse was that people who were wanting readings said, after I did the cleanse, I didn't feel like I needed them because I got enough direction and I've already started to improve. So I'm going to wait. So if I need something, I'll wait and I'll do it later. And that was one of the goals that we have because you know what the thing is, you have intuition and everybody has intuition. And then you have truth knowledge. And Anthony describes it like this. So for those of you who are watching and listening, he says that when you everyone has intuition and everyone can use their intuition. But when you get truth knowledge, it's like a bubble of truth and it hits the bubble of your intuition, the two merge, and you can then take that information and really develop and learn and heal from that without always needing to rely on somebody else's intuition for you.
Right.
This is a very powerful point, that this is what we're doing in mastery, because there's nothing more powerful than being able to figure stuff out for yourself. And while you may not be able to figure everything out for yourself all the time, if you can do it even 15% of the time or 20% of the time or 50% of the time, isn't that great that you're not panicking? So one of the things that I notice when people get sick is they panic, right? Oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm going to be sick. My kids are sick. It's just such a big emotion. And what this course is teaching people is how to deal with your health without panicking, right? You get empowerment. You get support. You get to ask the questions because, yesterday we'd done this interview with House of Citrine. I don't know if you guys saw it. And one of the things she asked me, she goes, what holds people back from healing? What's like the number one block? And I said, knowledge. knowledge is the number one block, because if you have the right knowledge, truth knowledge, you can move forward because it activates your own intuition. Other knowledge doesn't activate your own intuition, but truth knowledge activates your own intuition. And eating fruits and vegetables activates your own intuition. And then you're very powerful. Then you can really move forward. But we don't believe that, or we don't think that we can. So this program is about really having people like believe it, do it, own it, be like, yes, I can do this. Because so much of it is, are you sure? I'm not sure. So some of the practitioners in the practitioner group, and I know some of you are watching because I can see your names popping up, who will ask me questions or come to, they'll come to the group and ask questions. And oftentimes I'll say, well, what do you think it is? And then they'll give you a whole list of everything they think it is. And usually they're like, they're right. Maybe I'll fill in a couple of gaps, but they're right. And that's the kind of, you don't have to be a practitioner to be able to do that. You can, if you're not working with millions of people or hundreds of people, you don't need to know every little thing, but you can know enough to help your own family and your own issues. And that's something that anybody can get beyond and that. And so Carol says you have to trust. It's so much about trusting. And Shweta, I have so much gratitude for you to come here and talk to us and share your story. There's beautiful comments here. When you go back on Facebook and look at this again, you can read the comments. People are so appreciative of you sharing your story. And if you want to catch Shweta on Instagram, she's mindfully_vibrating, right? Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much for coming, Shweta.
And thank you so much for inviting me and giving me this experience of sharing my story. I feel, and I'm thankful for that, because when I share my story, I connect with so many people online. And I feel so blessed that I'm able to help other moms who are going through what I went through. Since when I was going through, I did not have those people.
Right.
And so I'm so grateful for this thing I was able to do.
Thank you, Shweta. Thank you so much. So I am going to, all you have to do is end it from your side. And then if you want, you can hop on and watch the lives because I'm going to keep going. People are asking questions, so I'm going to try and answer those. Wait, let me see if
I'm trying.
There we go. Great. Thank you so much. Did you guys enjoy her story? She has such a great story to share. And she studied medical medium so deeply, and is really powerful to see her, sharing all this beautiful work that she's doing with her family and her kids. Her Insta stories are amazing. So if you are on Instagram, go to her account and look at her stories. Like, she's regularly in the kitchen telling you what she's making, how she's doing it. So if you are a mother, or your grandmother, and you have a child, you have grandchildren, and you want to help your son or daughter figure out how to work in the kitchen with kids and how to figure all this out, please check out Shweta's Shweta on Instagram. All right, so I'm gonna look at some of these things over here. I was gonna say, I didn't get a chance to actually say it with Shweta on the phone, but the cleanse, people, we've been getting emails as usual. There's so many, and people wanted to know the difference really between doing a private reading and doing the program. Is it really worth it? And I want to address that because there's so many questions about it. And so one of the things I want to say is that while I do a reading for someone, I'm on the phone with you for an hour, and then maybe you don't get to talk with me for another few weeks or a few months, depending on how your schedule is placed and my schedule is placed. So it can be tricky. But what it is with the cleanse and the detox mastery program is that I'm going to be with you in your daily life, right? Over 3.5 months. And that is also another piece. Like, you don't just get me for that hour. There's different questions that show up in a reading as opposed to the program, but you get to ask me questions if you want every day. And some people do. And we're going to answer them for you. So it's really powerful to understand that point. So I'm going to go back and try and find some of these. So can scarring on the liver be reversed? Linda said yes. Samantha says, my 6-year-old is extremely picky and not too keen. I know he needs metal detox, but I fear he won't drink the smoothie. How can I make sure he gets the ingredients in? Samantha, you can split them up. You can do wild blueberries with honey. You can do cilantro like in guacamole, or like Shweta has this great cilantro chutney, which I also make. It's like my grandmother's recipe, and it's a very Indian, Pakistani thing. So we both have, and she shared her recipe. So you want to maybe go check that out, see if your child would like that. So, and you can split up the dulse. You can split up the barley grass. You can put it hide it in a smoothie for him. And that's really easy to do, and split it and do the same with the spirulina. So you can split it up. It's not so hard. So Candace says, a question about healing heavy metals. How do we know we are detoxing them? Sometimes you get symptoms of detox. We can talk more about that in the cleanse program. But yes, it's sometimes you get detox and symptoms, and sometimes you just start to feel maybe sometimes worse before you start to feel better. Christina, so many amazing, smart people answered your question about viruses on one side of the body. It is true, shingles can be on one or either side of the body. So yeah, so all these comments, Jean says, what about the people who've consulted Anthony over time? Are there testimonials from them? Well, I'm a testimonial. I've known him for 5 years, going on 6. And a lot of I was covered in full body eczema, upper body eczema when I met him. And within 6 months of his protocols, that cleared for me. And if you go onto his website, there's lots of testimonials on there from people who've consulted with him over time. There's lots and lots of those. So Jamie Novak, if brain fog is a symptom of the central nervous system, why does my brain fog increase when I eat foods I'm intolerant of? And right after I eat for a couple of hours, it seems related to the digestive system. So Jamie, I know you're in the cleanse program, so why don't you save this question for over there, because that would be a deeper place that I can answer it. But typically when you eat, you start to bring in foods that are healing to the body, and brain fog sometimes happens from the creation of viral die-off, and that's a symptom too. Also, when it's trying to get sugar into the brain, there's a lot of different mechanisms as to why that happens. Kristen says, how long is it good to take high vitamin C? No, high vitamin C you can take for a long time. Candace, I can't wait for the cleanse either. Blair, I'd really like to do a private reading, and as I'm sure is the case with many people, and I don't want to wait until December. Are there any other options? Blair, I do my work on the phone, so it's really, I don't go many places. So I do readings pretty much just on the phone. If you'd like to get, like I said, full support as much as you can to get started on your journey, then I would sign up for the Fall Cleanse of the Mastery program, because that's a place where you can really get that support. And a lot of people, I think, find that they can not have a need for a session or a private session after they do that. It's a good place to start and get going. And then even if you do need a session, it doesn't need to be a really long one. So it's a really great way to go. It's a good plan. So Susan, is there any truth to B12 increasing acne? No. Blair says, I feel like I'm improving, but my ultrasound shows a different story. Yeah, I hear you. Those are all things that I can help you with more off of a Facebook Live, because this is private health information and I cannot do that here as deeply. But if you joined one of the programs, we could definitely go deeper with that. And so trying to find more questions. Chris says, one of my symptoms additional to neurological is that I'm extremely cold no matter what the weather. It's usually due to the liver being really sluggish and your circulation not working super great. Carol McAllister, what is the simplest first step to take help with anxiety? The simplest first step would be to start having some wild blueberries and to cut out all the no foods. So cut out the eggs, dairy, gluten, soy, corn, canola. Those would be the first steps. Do you guys know, in the article that came out yesterday, I launched a medical medium starter kit. So if you guys want to help family members or clients or for yourself, go into the article and read at the bottom, and I think the second last paragraph or so, I have created a brand new medical medium starter kit for somebody who's beginning or needs direction or is overwhelmed and has no idea where to start. I listed a few things that are really powerful in there for you to be able to just click on it and say, oh, you can download this guide, and you have a guide on how, and if you're a practitioner and you're looking for a guide, you can give that to your clients, So do check that out. I would be most grateful if you did. Christina says, I drink my lemon water in the morning and 2 liters during the day, additionally to fruit screens, but I'm anyway thirsty. What can I do? You've got to just keep drinking living water, eating more. This is a symptom of the liver. So liver sluggishness. So you just have to, are you doing anything for your liver? I'm just not sure if you're taking any supplements or what have you. Cindy Brack, my boyfriend has a lot of martial arts injuries to the head and the face. All are healed. What is the most important thing he should do now is to make sure that he's having enough sweet potatoes so that he can prevent any scarring from happening. Jess says, oh my God, when I worked with Anthony before the website or Facebook, you're an old one, Jess. Not old as in age, but like an old client. I was so messed up with heavy metals that I would call him all the time because I was always panicking. I even stopped taking my supplements at one point. The OCD and panic was intense. My point is, don't give up. So Jess, tell us, if you're still listening, you've been doing it for what? 5-6 years, maybe more. Yeah, so you've gone through so many cycles and you're healing beautifully over this long period of time and really worked out the metal situation. Madeline says, what is the real reason some children have very late language development? Is it heavy metals? Yes, it usually is. So Blair, how long does it take for thyroid nodules to disappear? It really is so individual, Blair. It would depend on the strain it would depend on the strain of the virus that you have. It would depend on all the other metals. I would have to really do a reading. It's different for everybody. Some can disappear in a month and some need a year or two. Jamie says, can please help me, tell me about bedwetting in older kids. It's a heavy metal situation. Katie says, what's the detox mastery begin? It begins on the 9th of November, Katie, at the same time as the intuitive cleanser. It's afterwards. It's not at the same time. I couldn't run 2 programs together. Miriam says, I love the protocol, but I find it so time consuming and expensive. Well, there's ways to do things on a budget. If you're able to cut back and just do basic supplements, if you don't feel well, you do need to bring in some other stuff. It is time consuming. It is really taking the time to take care of yourself. And I think that we are in a society where self-care is not really valued and it's considered like we shouldn't spend much time on it. But I think that if we all had a mind shift around that we would think that it is really important to spend time taking care of yourself. I think that it's just a cultural symptom that, we shouldn't be taking so much time in the kitchen or time to really prep things for ourselves or take care of ourselves. Chris says, can we take Epsom salt baths or sauna for detox? Yes, you can. It depends how often. It depends on you. Blair says, what is a must-do supplement to take to heal thyroid nodules? I would do asparagus. It's the number one thing, but asparagus is the number one thing, but you'd have to do an Epstein-Barr protocol. Like you're not going to be able to reverse it without that. Blair says, I'm just trying to bump into you in person since I'm in the area. Oh, I don't go out much. It's hard to bump into me. Lisa says, I've just started the top 5 supplements for shingles, along with what I have already been doing. So can I put lobelia in my metal smoothie? No. Can I add lemon balm and cat's claw into the smoothie? Yeah, you could, but I would just do it in a separate little cup. You could, but you know, it's hard for me to advise on supplements, Lisa. It's just something that I avoid here. If you want to ask me supplement questions like that, it's best to do it in a program. I don't want to get myself into trouble or you guys, or not be able to do this anymore. So Gail says, any tips on cleaning minerals from my juicer? Rinse it out really thoroughly. Use a little peroxide to clean it up. That would be my recommendation. Shweta says, I so agree about you might not need a session because of the detox. Thank you for saying that so much. Susan, is this article in an email? We haven't sent it out in email yet. So right now it's on social media. It's on Instagram and it's on Facebook. Christina says, thanks for all your comments about one-sided shingles. I didn't know. I read the shingles post. I didn't have supplements, only foods. Is there a necessary sum for fighting it? Yeah, I would recommend that you look up some supplements for sure. Madeline says, tight clenching of the jaw at night during sleep. Any supplements to take before bed? You got it. I would go with the ones you listed. You've already figured it out. Julie says, when detoxing, is it necessary to cleanse the body in a specific order? No, that's a myth. Are tongue and lip tie procedures necessary? Sometimes they are. And sometimes in olden days, it would be handled without surgery, but I think it would be hard to come by right now. Katie says, my daughter has been eating fruits and vegetables as well. Some tinctures. She's working on healing strep yesterday, and she woke up with a sour-like smell from her body. Is that her liver cleansing? That is her gut releasing ammonia gas. Katie says, I'd like to take both classes. I'm excited. I'm so happy that you are, Katie. Miriam says, I can't get up in the morning, difficulty sleeping and insomnia. I crave salt. Clearly adrenals are off. What are the top 2 things I can do to reset? How about doing some celery apple juice? Because I did my celery and now I have some celery apple juice. It's really tasty, or you can put lemon in it. But celery is a great adrenal supporter. And make sure that you look on Anthony's page to find some of the, he's got some adrenal support herbs there. You could bring those in. Vanessa says, is the detox program, is it targeting only for certain disease and symptoms? Oh no, it's very general. It's very much based on a medical medium healing protocol for everything, not just one. Lara says, neither do I go out much. Yeah, then it's hard to bump into each other if neither of us go out. Jamie says, can you talk about the CBS mutation, which makes it hard for the body to deal with sulfurous foods? Yeah, Jamie, Anthony doesn't, he says that gene mutations are not the cause of issues that we have. And really, there are no gene mutations. It's really, it's really the ones who, like MTHFR and even CBS, all of them are not really true mutations. They're false tests. And you can hear more about that when he talks about the gene mutation theory on one of his radio shows. Carol says, I'm so looking forward to our mastery. In the meantime, if you have extra suggestions for insomnia, well, Carol, we're starting the intuitive cleanse tomorrow. So you can even go in there now and ask me that question in there. I'd much rather answer it in there. If you are a member of the cleanse group already, please save your questions for the cleanse. And this is, allow other people, like if it's a really quick question, but if you're asking me deeper questions about supplements and things like that, I'm just not able to answer them in depth over here. But if you are a member of the cleanse or the mastery program, really just pop into the Facebook group now and just go pop your question in there. We'll get to all of them starting tomorrow. Marilyn says, water filtration systems that are good. Berkey, best treatment for hemorrhoids, probably aloe vera. Emily says, I find with a juicer basket, I need to use a metal scrub to get the celery salts off. Yeah, we do that too. Juju says, how long can we keep fruits fresh in the fridge? It really depends on your fridge and depends how hot it is outside, I really think. Jolene, any helpful supplement-wise for a broken elbow in a child? I would give them lots of silica. So do you have solutions for hand and feet hyperhidrosis? I would be following an antiviral protocol, Lori, for that one. So you guys, the intuitive cleanse is happening. It starts freaking tomorrow. If this is, I know you guys are asking me questions, and many of you are here because you want to know more. You want to know if it's worth it. You want to know if it's the right thing for you to do. You want to know if this is really going to be the program that's going to help you. And if it's the right program for you, which are all very valid concerns and questions. So, here's the link one more time. I'm so glad that we got to jam together. I'm so glad that we got to see our dear friend Shweta here. Check out the program, Intuitive Cleanse. It's 14 days. Mastery is 3 months. That starts just after October 26th. Tomorrow is the start of the cleanse. Goes to November 8th. It's 14 days of us jamming together. If you want a basic introduction, that's where to go. 3 months of jamming with me every single day. Every single day, you get to ask me questions. You cannot put a price on that, people. Really, I am giving it all out to you. Please consider joining. If you're waiting for an appointment, if you need more support, if you feel alone, if you feel like I cannot figure this out, or you're struggling, or you're stuck, or your symptoms have plateaued and nothing's getting better. And if you want to be in a community, so really, 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 please check out the Cleanse of the Mastery program. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I love you guys. Have a blessed day. And tomorrow's the last day to get the discount. So if you want to can you put the link on for your newbie info? What newbie info? It's right here. It's Jackie, can you post the links to the article, please? Because somebody's asking for that article. It's an article that went down on houseofcitrine.com. So check it out, and it's going to be a jam. And if you have questions about the cleanse, team at muneezaahmed.com. Team at muneezaahmed.com. That is where to send questions about the program. We got a lot of questions after the last one. Christina, I'm so excited that you're going to sign up. That's awesome. Nancy says, if we want to do the cleanse and then we decide we want to continue with the price of the mastery, will the price be deducted from the intensive? I'm not sure of your question, Nancy. Email team at muneezaahmed.com. I just don't understand your question. And somebody else said they wanted the link. So Candace, was it Candace who wanted the link to the article, or somebody for the newbie program? It's all in there. We just posted it above. Check it out, people. I absolutely love you guys. Katie says the information and intuitive cleanse and the recipes are, oh, thank you so much. Getting to hear from Muneeza is an added bonus. Thank you. We give away a ton of stuff all the time. Hey, Mary, how are you doing? We're almost wrapping up, so you caught the end of it. Linda says, I never got a response from the email 2 days ago. I'm so sorry. Could you email us again? Remember, if you didn't get a response, we probably haven't seen your email. So don't get upset or mad. Just email us again. I promise you, we will take care of it. We just cannot handle cyberspace sometimes. When it gets lost in the ethers, we can't help that, but we really want to help you. So please, please, please. Susan, I'm so happy. Starter Kit is going to rock. People are going to love it because I think that it just gives you this succinct little handbook on how to get going. And I've been wanting to do this for a long time. So we finally did it. Yay. And yes, the 3 month includes a 14-day cleanse. That is correct. So again, if you have more questions, team at muneezaahmed.com. Team at muneezaahmed.com. The links are here to the article and to the cleanse. So, and yes, check your spam folder. Sometimes we do respond and you didn't see it. So Technology, technology, technology. Please always default to technology before you get mad at us. We don't like you getting mad at us, and we don't want to make you mad. That's not why we're here. And we're not ignoring anybody on purpose, right? It's because I didn't see a question on the live stream or because we didn't get an email. I love you guys. Have a blessed, blessed afternoon. And I will talk to you very soon. Cleanse starts tomorrow. Woohoo! Can't wait. Bye, you guys.